back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another edition here of the Rongyi Cup. The Rongyi Cup Season 3 Playoffs, day number 3. I'm of course your host, VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the who in chat, and of course by my bunnies off to the side as well. Welcome and all. Bienvenidos, everyone, as we are here looking to conclude Rongyi Cup over the next couple of days. This has been a very long and very intense tournament with a group stage, with the playoffs, of course, as well. $21,000 USD prize pool, and we've had many players rise and even more fall, as we have 4 players left here in the Rongyi Cup. Let's catch up on the bracket. Let's go. Let us go. Bearing in mind that this is going to be a replay cast from matches that did occur a little bit ago, but bearing in mind the finals of this event has yet to conclude. Finals is actually tomorrow. So we're catching up on the semifinals today, so we can jump right on into the finals tomorrow. That's the goal. That is the plan. Bam! As you can see here before you, this is the bracket for the playoffs. Oh boy, so far we had herO. herO took down Showtime 3-1 to make it to the semifinals. Solar barely took down Classic 3-2. That was a very close, very clutch best of 5, and Solar was able to come out on top. We then had Clem took down, we then had Trigger, I should say. Trigger took down Clem, a big upset, not for the first time, by the way, but Trigger, he took down Clem once again, 3-2. Clem, being the best Terran player in the world, does fall at the hands of Trigger, so big upset, big result. Clem, I would have said, would have been favored to play or to make it to the finals, but not anymore. Meanwhile, we have Maru. Maru barely takes down Creator 3-2 and all the way to the ace match. I do recommend the VODs. We did cover the quarterfinals day 2 yesterday, and we covered it day 1 a little bit ago. We also covered all the group stage, so again, it's all on YouTube. The group stage, the playoffs, and again here we'll be covering the semi-finals. As I did just mention, the grand finals will not be played today. The grand finals will be played tomorrow in around like 36-ish. No, like in around 36-ish hours time. So again, just over a day and a half hours, a day and a half time is going to be the playoffs, is going to be the grand finals. It's going to be best of 7 between the top 2 players in this tournament. We will get there. But again, we will be covering that tomorrow. Of course, we'll be covering that live. We should be covering it live, fingers crossed. We were notified that it might be a little bit late, the event itself, just because from my understanding the event is hosting multiple different esports and multiple different titles, and StarCraft is scheduled after Overwatch, and it all depends on how long the Overwatch and the other esports events are going to be. So if they end early, then StarCraft starts early. If they end late, then StarCraft starts late. So kind of depends on how the other matches will go and how they do progress. For now, though, again, we're going to be focusing on our semifinals. We have 2 series here ready for you. It's going to be 2 best of 5s, herO versus Solar and Trigger versus Maru. Let's go. Let us go. Jumping into our first series, jumping into our PvZ, jumping into our best of 5. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on the Old Republic. Let us begin the broadcast. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Otherwise, hope you've all been enjoying yourselves. Hope you all had a great week. I think it was Valorant, but close enough. It's the same thing. It's Overwatch, Valorant, Deadlock, CSGO, what's the other one? Fortnite, Battle Royale. It's, you know, it's they all shoot each other. It's fine. It's spawning in the left-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player, the South Korean Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is a Solar. We go. Our series is upon us, so we are getting to the first game of this best of 5, and coming into this we are going to be leading towards herO here. He's the best Protoss player in the world for a reason. At the same time, Solar, he took down Classic. He took down Classic. He brought, I mean, went all the way to the ace match, was very close, was very clutch, but Solar was able to prove himself against Classic. If you can bring down Classic, then herO is within reach as well. But of course, herO is a very different kind of player. herO, he's a little bit more unorthodox, he's a little bit more unpredictable, and can be very in your face. That is the scary thing about herO, is that he can embrace a longer later game, or he can be in your face early on with early charge timings, early glaive adepts. We'll see as herO and Solar are setting up, and we can discuss the map and the matchup itself. So coming into this, welcome to the Old Republic. The Old Republic is a larger map of the map pool, longer rush distance by ground. Typically, one of the biggest trials and tribulations of the Old Republic is just how indefendable the 4th base is. Whether it's this low ground 4th base or the linear 4th base, it is much more difficult to maintain, much more difficult to defend, and we have seen many successful 3 base all-in hit, strike, and break that 4th expansion. Even a 3rd base can be quite difficult as well, just because of how open and how wide the arc is once you get up the ramp in towards the 3rd. So we have seen quite a lot of mid-game aggression, I will say, from the side of Zerg players. At the same time, because of the size of the map, muta play is also viable, and we have seen mutas from Solar quite often in these series. I say quite often, I should say like once in a best of 5 is what we expect to see from Solar when it comes to muta play, whether it's game 1 or whether we do it on Winter Madness or White Rabbits or one of the other larger maps, yet to be determined. Meanwhile, from the side of herO, he has been adjusting his style. We've been talking about this quite often and quite frequently. If you watched herO during the Thunderfire event and in events after that as well, preceding that, then you will know that herO has been very fond of these early charge timings. That is how herO 3-0'd CranKy. Again, he 3-0'd CranKy with non-stop early charge timing. CranKy he was caught off guard time and time again, and since then we've seen herO and Classic and other top Protoss players alike also rely upon and mix in charge-based follow-ups more and more often with a lot of success. So we'll see if that trend continues here. We'll see how he does open up. For now, Stargate opener into a 3rd base, everything's looking normal, but the follow-up is what's important. Does he go +1 and blink or +1 and charge? Ooh, Void Ray first. Okay, does open Void Ray. With this, he can hunt down the Overlord and slip into something a little bit different here. Now, we have been watching a lot of herO as of late, and something that herO did do in his grand finals against Solar. True, this is a rematch, by the way. Just realized. But herO versus Solar, that was last week in Pegasus Cup. It was the grand finals of Pegasus. I say last week. Sorry, this week. This week in Pegasus Cup, we had herO versus Solar, and herO twice in that series went Void Ray into Stargate, Fleet Beacon, Tempest Rush. He went into 2 Tempest Rush in that best of 5 against Solar with mixed results and mixed success. Could we see that here? We could. Not saying we will, but at least once in this series, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for another Tempest Rush. Otherwise, again, we can mix in +1 in blink, +1 in charge, glaive adepts. That's the scary thing about a Void Ray opener, is that you will be denying vision. You'll hunt down the Overlords and ensure that Solar doesn't know what's going on. Void Ray moves out. That's a fast forge. Oh, okay. It's a very fast forge. Interesting. So fast forge, fast +1. We should be waiting for a Twilight Council here. Just waiting for the minerals, waiting for the resources. Solar going for early Evo Chamber, early +1. Oh, okay. So Solar, he's going for a standard opener. I mean, he's going Evo Chamber, +1 melee into Ling Bane or into Ling Hydra. This should be the go-to. Meanwhile, herO with the early Forge means early +1, early +2. Does he go Blink? Does he go Charge? Yet to be determined. The Overlord doesn't come in for the scouts, and the Overlord will actually confirm. Yeah, this should not have happened. He does scout the early Forge, but the Void Ray should have hunted this down. And nice scout here by Solar. He's at least aware there's no Sky Toss, there's no Tempest Rush this time. Oh no, and the Void Ray is going to be thrown away. Oh my god, taking so much hull damage. Yeah, herO a little bit inattentive. We got to tighten up. And there it is, early charge. So as we mentioned before, there's a reason why we brought this up at the start of the series, but herO has been very fond of these early charge builds, and this is where I'm concerned for Solar. Why am I concerned? We saw +1 melee. +1 melee usually means the Solar wants to skip roaches. Now, thankfully, he does get a safety roach warren, and Solar, he did scout the early Forge. The early Forge is indicative that something is a little bit wrong. Like, something is wrong, something is amiss, like this. Something often quirky about herO's build. So, Solar, he's at least getting a roach warren, but does he make any roaches? His initial plan is to go Ling Hydra or even Ling into Spire play. Hopefully he does invest into roaches. If not, then he's going to be vulnerable to that timing. So we'll see how Solar reacts. It's all about Solar's reaction. For now, he pokes in, gets us around. No shield battery. Yeah, the battery is late. Both adepts will go down. Gets one, gets 2 adepts. Does force a cancel on the shield battery. Not bad. Even getting 2 probes. Does he get 3? Jesus. Yeah, the Oracles there across the map. 5 probes going down. This is crazy damage here. This should not have happened. Meanwhile, here he gets across the map. He does try to make up for it, getting 4 drone kills. And behind this, there's that roach speed. So we are kind of investing into roaches, but there's a Spire on the way. Ooh. So if Solar banks resources and waits for the mutas and waits for the Spire, he may just die to the timing attack. He may just topple over. Lings, they poke in. They do scout the Archons, I believe. Archons have been scouted. But we have cannons on the way. herO taking a defensive stance. Does he have a robo? No. No robo. What does that mean? No War Prism, no reinforcers across the map. herO is not attacking. So because herO isn't attacking and he's going for a later +2 timing instead, that means, hey, we can get away with these mutas, we can get away with the Spire. Also, the Vindication, again, we did mention that Spire play was an option here on the Old Republic. My assumption, of course, is that we'd see this at least once in this series from Solar. We'll see if we do it again later on in this best of 5. But the Oracles, they come in for the scout, they confirm, yep, there's a revelation, Spire has been spotted. Oof. With that, Phoenix production has begun. Solar, he knows he's been spotted. He's making 8 mutas, and it should only be 8. So Solar has to make a choice here. Does he double down and go mass muta, or does he only make a harassing force? The problem is he's been scouted. He's making more mutas. Ooh. Like 8 mutas is enough to one-shot workers and to harass, but we have more mutas on the way. Investing into +1 to flyer attack. And here is setting up. Cannons at the main, cannons at the natural. He is getting ready. He's building up his Archon High Templar count. Storm is done. And mutas are moving out. Mutas that catch the Oracle. More roaches are amassing. Solar, he is getting on the base. He's taking more gases, so he's just doubling down. He's making more mutas. He's going mass muta. Now, mutas, they're amazing when it comes to harassing. They're very mobile. They're very nimble. But they're also very fragile. They're very fragile. In a head-on fight, I cannot favor them. They do take down one of the Phoenixes. Phoenix and the Void Ray. Nice pickoffs. Just picking up a couple of key units. Solar, he does rotate around. Diving into the natural. Ooh, getting another Phoenix. At the same time, Ling Roche does hit the front lines, but alas, hero's in position. herO, he defends the natural, he defends his 4th. Oh, and he's starting to move out. The mutas are on the way. Ideally, they want to snipe the High Templar. They're coming in. Yeah, they're coming in for the Templar. Storm does zone. Whew. Very close. Storm zones away. You have Ling Roche slipping in from behind. herO, he's forced to turn around. We're losing an Immortal. Yeah, massive pickup. Immortal goes down. Now, in a head-on fight, herO wins. Like, herO, he will win in a head-on engagement, but you can see here, because of all these counterattacks, because of all these run-bys, ideally, Solar, he wants to create an opening so he can dive in and pick up those High Templar. Even here, sniping a Phoenix. Oh, the Archons do keep up. Here come the mutas, going for the Templar. Yes, Storms, they try to zone away. We're spending a lot of Storms on the mutas. Jesus. There's what, 2 Storms left? 2 Storms remaining. Mutas are coming in. Up. Another Storm. 2 more. Yeah, the final Storms. No more Storms left, but the mutas are so softened up. You can see how brittle, how vulnerable they are. 1 Archon volley will be enough. 2 mutas are regenerating HP. We have now 5 Archons. And the mutas can never engage, to be honest. Like, they cannot engage with the main army. Instead, he has to go for the counterattack. He has to go for the base trade. herO's already here. Banning's decent connection on the Zealots. Decent. Bases are going down. And back at him, herO just has to build up his High Templars. His High Templars, Archons. And I feel like herO's got this. As we mentioned before, like, these mutas are amazing when it comes to harassing, but unfortunately they can never fight this main army. It's not going to happen. Does catch 1, 2, almost 3 Phoenixes, not bad. But GG, yeah, GG gets called, and herO, he will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. herO takes the lead in the series, and Solar didn't play too badly at all. Solar, he was doing what he could with what he had. He was going for run-bys, counterattacks. As we mentioned, he was trying to pull apart the attention and pull apart the army of herO so he could find an opening for his mutas. Unfortunately, he never quite did. He did force out all the storms, but the storms were connecting. If you recall, the storms did connect, the storms did soften off the mutas, and it meant that they could never engage with the Archons. We had 5 Archons pushing across the map, an army that could never be touched, and Solar, he was late to the base trade. He eventually did decide he had to base trade, but he was already losing bases, he was already losing his 3rd base, his natural as well, and back at home, herO has stacked defense, and herO, he was amassing an army that could also not be dealt with. GG. GG, well played. With that, herO, he does take a lead in the series. Now we're jumping to game 2. Let's go. Once again, when it comes into this mass muta style and mass muta play, it is quite heavily reliant on keeping your opponent at home and keeping them busy, right? Like it's so crucial that the Zerg player does the best job they can at making sure that herO never moves out, because as you saw, if the Protoss ever moves out, they win the game. Like they just roll you over, baby. So it's all about just buying time, you know, backstabbing as well, and just trying to buy as much time as possible to build up a ground army. But Solar, he could only delay for so long. And here we go. Here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tourmaline. We have the blue Protoss player. We have the South Green Protoss leading the series 1-0, representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player, the South Green Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is a Solar. Here we go. Yo, topping in the chat. Bienvenidos. Bienvenidos, papi, as we're getting into our second game of the series, and we'll see how Solar will adjust coming into Tourmaline. Tourmaline is one of the smaller maps in the map pool. It's a smaller map. Aggression is favored here. No short Solar goes mutas. No, muta play is crazy here on Tourmaline, but what we do expect is potentially a German taxi, Roach all in, or a Ling Hydra based all in. All ins can work quite well here. And fun fact, we actually did see Solar defeat herO earlier this week in Pegasus Cup on this map with an all-in. Solar, he went for a German taxi, he went for a Queen Roach all-in across the map, and herO was caught with his pants down. The pants were down. Technically, herO, he was denied the 4th base. He just could not defend his 4th base, it was broken, and eventually his 3rd as well. Again, the 4th expansions on this map, I mean, not even just the 4th base, but the 3rd base, the natural, just all these bases, all these locations are very open. You can see here they're very open, they're very vulnerable, they're very accessible, maybe that's a better way of putting it. So whenever someone goes for an all-in, they have so much room to work with here. There's no choke point, right? There's no choke point working against you. So splash damage, force field, storms are less effective just because of how open these entrances are into the natural and into the 3rd. And even here into towards the 4th base, and even here in the middle, like it's just a very open map, very open and very small. So we'll see how herO will adjust. We'll see how he'll approach. But now Stargate opener out of herO. With this is going to be opening up Oracle, or last game did open Void Ray, so we could see another Void Ray opener to hunt down the Overlord and to keep Solar in the dark. Eyes are on herO. As herO does shade across the map. Looking for some scouting information. So far, it's a little bit too early here to really determine what's going on. But we should be seeing Roaches by Solar. Should be seeing Roach play. And this time Oracle first, no Void Ray. Okay, herO does mix it up. This time hero's going for a much more standard opener. He's less concerned with denying vision and more concerned with dealing harassing damage and getting scouting information. Again, that's one of the reasons why Oracle openers are so common and so popular, is because they're, I mean, so versatile in how they can be used. They can use harass to scout, to apply to, or I should say, to provide utility when it comes to support, when it comes to the stasis traps. True high ground vision. True. Like herO is going to be hunted down. Things they poke in. In, they pull away. herO does go for the dive. Remember, 2 oracles, they can one-shot drones. No spore here at the 3rd. Drones are vulnerable. He gets 1, he gets 2, he gets 3. 3 drone kills, not bad. And behind this, we have our Forge and Twilight Council standard follow-up here. Because of the timing, as Queen gets caught out, no transfuse. Getting another drone, up to 4 drone kills. A very nice start for herO. A nice start. Meanwhile, that's going to be lair first. Let's say 440-ish lair timing. This time it is a lair before Evo Chamber. Remember, last game was Evo Chamber first into +1 melee, which was indicative of a more Ling heavy into a more tech heavy style, whether it was going to be Ling Hydra or Ling Muta. I mean, we found out it was going to be Mutas. This time, delayed Evo Chamber, delayed upgrades, earlier lair. This could be for an early Hydra den. There is a Hydra based all-in that Soul is very fond of, where it cuts workers at 3 base saturation. We'll see. No shot it goes Mutas again. No shot. As that's going to be dealt with. This time hero's going for a +1 and blink. I was going to say that this time the timings were a little more standard as opposed to last game where we had the earlier Forge. That's a lot of gases. 2 gases in the main, 2 gases at the natural, 2 gases at the 3rd. We're taking all the gases. And again, my money is still on Hydras, but we'll see. No, he's doing it again. Mutas. Okay. We're rushing into Muta play instead. Oh, leaves their foot in. Yeah, the wall's not a wall. The wall was not a wall. 8 probes go down. This should not have happened. herO. As things got into the main as well. Again, there was no drop loads or anything like that. They just walked in. Ay. 9 probe kills. His economy is crippled. And Solar, he's slowly working towards those Mutas. Now, a couple of things here. Now, one of the reasons why I didn't expect to see Mutas is, one, because of the size of the map. Because the map is so small, it does mean that if herO goes for a push, if he goes for a counterattack, then Solar has less time to react and less time to try to delay. So that's one big factor here. But no charge this time. So because there's no charge, typically a charge-based opener coincides with Archons and with Storm. Going +1 and blink, though, does mean that you're going to be staying with the gateway composition that much longer. It means that Archon production is going to be much more delayed. Now, the Temple Archives now gets thrown down, but the Mutas, they're about to pop in. Like, the Spire's now done. The Mutas are coming. Now, herO, he has no idea. herO, he has not scouted, he has not confirmed. herO did see the early lair, but in his mind, it could be Mutas or it could be Hydras. As things they attempt to collapse in. So far, nice blink control. herO going for the 4th base. It looks like he'll bring down the 4th. He spots the Mutas. He sees. Okay, now he sees, now he knows. Now he's aware, and herO, he has to race back home. Cannons are being thrown down. Phoenixes are on the way. This time it's a later scout, a later realization. And herO, he's out of position. Yeah, forced to recall. And so look, he can pull this off. He can pull this off. He cannot fight head on though, Jesus. Solar, calm down. Yeah, Solar bleeding out 2 Mutas. Ooh, 3 Mutas go down. Brutal losses here for Solar. Solar still doubling down. Oh, switching into a Roach base composition. Roach production has begun. Looks like he's trying to get out of Mutas as he gets caught out once again, losing 2 more Mutas. Down to 8. 8 Mutas left. 5 have gone down so far. But then you can see the hard switch into Roaches. And this so far has not been worth it. It's not been worth it. On the one hand, yes, Solar, he's a little bit safer back at home. The counterattack is a little bit weaker here for herO. But these mutas, they didn't achieve any damage. And Storm is coming. Oh, do get the Revelation. Revelation here does catch the Ravagers and now the Roaches as well. So herO is now aware. He's where the ground switch. Robo's on the way. Does need those Immortals. Yeah, we got the slow lot run by. I don't think herO realizes that he has not research charge. Yeah, this is not intentional. So we got the slow lots moving out. Mutas hit the right hand side, catching out some of the High Templar. Gets two. High Templar go down. Storm is denied. I mean, Storm finishes, but again, he has no Templar. Nice dive out of Solar. Fourth base is exposed. herO coming from behind with the slow lots. True, let's go. The slow lots are coming. Oh, that's a lot of Stalkers going down. Where are the blinks? Yeah, herO with a bit of miscontrol was a little bit inattentive, but hey, he still has enough. Oh my god. Who needs charge? Who needs it? The slow lots are coming. And herO, he shuts us down. Here, he shuts us down. Forces back the army. He saves the fourth base, more importantly. Saves the fourth expansion. Oh. As herO does find the mutas. Find them. Again, Solar trying to make this a ground army work, but again, his upgrades are lacking just because of the mutas. He's only +1 roaches. Oof. Storms is running away. Once again, Solar, he cannot fight head on, not like this, but he's all in. At this point, he's all in. 71 drones, no additional upgrades. He has +1 melee on the way. Oh, and the storms are brutal. And the storms connect. Diving on top of the roaches. Solar, he just cannot engage. Remember, the soup is lying to you. Remember, the soup does lie. Roach Ravager is inflated supply, so herO has the more efficient army. Don't let the soup lie to you. Oh god. Nice knife. Gets a High Templar. Your charge is now done. He's got charge. It does have charges here. He does moving forward, catching out more roaches. And Soul just bleeding out so much army here. And now we have 2 Immortals. 2 Immortals, 5 Archons. Here he's built up his Death Ball. Just bullying Solar. And again, Solar never intended for the game to last this long, right? Like that's why his army is struggling as much as it is. Solar was all in. Oof. Roaches, they get punished. That's a massive chunk of roaches going down. Storm with the roaches as well. Jesus. Lands the storm. And Solar, he's on his last legs here. So his last legs. So just rally whenever he can. This is what, round 3, round 4 for Solar. Meanwhile, herO is getting a fleet beacon, working towards the mothership, working towards Skytos, just getting further ahead. Does get a High Templar. Let's go. As herO, he's missing Zealots here. Here he's banking up 1,000 minerals like that. I was like, what's going on? As Zealots warp in, GG gets called, and here he will take a 2-0 lead in the series. So GG. Whew. GG, well played here. He will extend his lead here. Again, it was a crazy and bold move for Solar to go into mutas this time again, especially on Tourmaline. So very, very bold move here from Solar. Unfortunately, he didn't really achieve any damage with them. It was unscattered. It was unscattered. The mutas were only seen as they were spawning in from their eggs. So there was potential for economic damage, but instead, do you remember what Solar did? He made his first wave of mutas and he went for a frontal assault. He went for a frontal assault on the main army, and he lost 5 mutas. He lost 5 mutas trying to break the Mass Blink Stalker. It was a little bit shocking. Like, I assumed that Solo would be going for harassing damage and trying to get into mineral lines because the static defense wasn't ready, right? The cannons were not ready because of the late scout, but instead he tried to go for the main fight. He tried to break the main army, and that was not the call to make. Solo, he lost all of his mutas, he lost most of his lings, and he was forced to switch into Roach Ravager, where alas, he forced himself all in. As we mentioned, like, he had a very, very low amount of upgrades, so just +1. And again, he cut workers early at 71, just non-stop Roach production. Unfortunately, over time, he was outscaled. And with that, we're now getting into game number 3. We're going to be loading into Winter Madness. Oh boy, the pressure is on. We'll see if Solar can fight back. We'll see if he can put a point on the board and make a series out of this. The pressure is on. Pressure is on, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing T1, leading the series 2-0. It is herO. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player, the South Korean Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. Here we go. As we're getting into game 3, again, the pressure is on. Here is up 2-0, and here needs one more game, one more win to claim the series and to advance onto the grand finals. We'll see if Solar can begin the comeback. Now, I don't want to say that Spire play is necessarily the wrong move to go for. Like, Spire play is viable, mutas are viable. If you're looking at this series, you might be thinking like, yo, mutas are trash. They're like, no, they have their place. As I mentioned before, it was just a really bold move to go mutas on Tourmaline. Like, I feel like mutas are the weakest on some of these smaller maps, so it's just really, really risky to go for something like that on a smaller map like Tourmaline. In game 1, if you recall, they got scouted, right? The Spire was seen before it was done in game 1, and that's why herO was able to react so quickly and so hard to the mutas. And that's kind of what we rely upon here, is that if you're going into Spire play, if you're going into mutas, you are heavily reliant on lack of vision and lack of scouting from the Protoss player. Game 1, Solar was scouted early on. Game 2, it was a little bit more ideal for Solar. It was a later scout, but Solar still tried to go for a head-on engagement, and that kind of did go poorly for Solar, and everything just kind of snowballed out of control. Now, I don't want to see mutas 3 games in a row. I feel like that would be a crazy move here, and I don't know if Solar's really wanted to be that crazy. I feel like we're going to calm down, and hey, welcome to Winter Madness. Winter Madness is one of the larger maps of the map pool. It's one of the more defendable maps as well. Your 3rd base, your 4th base, there are a lot more defendable, they're a little more difficult to push into. The entrances here into the 3rd and into the 4th base are more narrow. Compare these entrances to Tourmaline. Tourmaline, these were what, twice the size? Like, we had a much larger entrance here, so these were much more accessible. Here on Winter Madness are a lot more narrow, easier to hold on to. Because of that, we have seen a lot of successful defensive play from Protoss players to be able to get their 3rd, their 4th base, build up, turtle up, and max out and get into Sky Toss. We've seen that quite a bit, and we've seen that be quite successful. I would have said that because of that, because it's easier to defend, it's going to be harder to get away with like Roach all-ins or Hydra all-ins, and Spire play is more accessible here. Spire play is more viable on Winter Madness. But Spire 3 games in a row, like, like, with the context of the greater series, like, I wouldn't want to see muted. I wouldn't want to see Spire here, even though I would say this is maybe one of the best maps for it. Okay, we gotta calm down, calm down. The other option, because it's so difficult to break a turtling Protoss player here, I would suggest potentially even just macro play. Just go Ling Hydra into Lurker Tech into a longer and later game. I do know that late game is more favored towards Protoss when it comes to Sky Toss if they can get there, so a lot of Zerg players do try to avoid the late game if they can, but I mean, all-ins are not going to work out anywhere near as well on this map, so you're kind of forced into that potentially. We'll see. We'll see what Solar does. As so far, we have a Void Ray opener out of herO, just like game 1. Does go for the Void Ray with this herO. He's going to hunt down the Overlord. He's going to deny vision, and now herO can make a choice. Now, we just spoke about how turtling up and going into Sky Toss is favorite here, so we could see a Fleet Beacon. Could see a Beacon, we could see another Stargate, or we could just see standard play. Meanwhile, that's an early lair. That's a sub 4-minute lair timing. That was what, 3:45-ish? 3:45 lair timing, so very early lair. Because it's so early, there are a couple things going on in my mind, depending on how many gases are taken. We could go for like a Link Queen Nidus all-in, but this feels a little bit late for a Link Queen Nidus all-in. This could be 2-ace Muta. This could be just gases and more Muta play, or this could be fast Hydras. We'll see. But again, this is a very fast lair. Faster than any other game in the series. Even last game was at 4:40, if you remember. It was a 4:40 lair timing. Here it's a minute earlier. I don't see extra gases. I don't see extra gases here. Are we going for a Nidus? That's all Lings. Lings are amassing. It's going to be a Link Queen Nidus all in. Yeah, there we go. Nidus is on the way. So again, no extra gases. So early lair, no extra gases indicative of a Nidus all in. Nidus is on the way. And one way or the other, Solar, he wants to end the game. And this is one of the ways to bypass the defensive prowess of this map, right? It's like we spoke about how the entrances are really narrow and it's easier to defend. But what if you go straight into the main, right? What if you don't go right in? The problem, though, is that this Overlord, we are so heavily reliant on this Overlord. There's a Void Ray right next door. If the Void Ray can hunt down this Overlord, that will just end the game. For now, he's distracted. Yeah, here he's distracted. Nidus Storm is finishing. Here we go. Nidus Storm is on the way in the main. And here he has no idea. Here he has no idea. This Void Ray had one job to kill the Overlords. Fails to do so. Oracles, they poke in. herO, he's now getting cannons and shield batteries. Nidus Storm will complete. And Solar, he gets in. He gets into the main base. Nothing to defend. The pants are down. And what does herO have? herO, he has one Void Ray. That's game. That's game. herO, the gateways are being depowered. Denies the gateways in the main base. Lings, they get into the mineral line. High Templar, they have nothing. There's no Storm. Too greedy. Yeah, too greedy here from herO. He failed to scout. He failed to deny. And with that, Solar, we have a series. We have a series of Solar. He will take over the natural. Sorry, he'll take over the main. He'll take over the main base. 25, 26 probes going down. We have a series, Pappy. It's not going to be a 3-0. Let's go. Yeah, it's not going to be 3-0 as the main base is forfeits. All the buildings will crumble. Spine Crawlers are denying mining at the third, so herO is stuck on a one-base economy. He's stuck on one base. GG gets called. There's nothing left here to defend, and Solar, he will fight back. He'll put a point on the board. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Solar, he does put a point on the board here. Let's go, baby, let's go. Again, herO, he failed to scout the Nidus, he failed to recognize lack of gases, and he failed to recognize the early lair as well. Not just that, but even without any kind of scouting information, herO did open Void Ray, and that Void Ray had one job: to hunt down the Overlords and to deny vision. Missed the Overlord. He missed the Overlord. Again, even herO not scouting and not realizing what was going on, there was a chance that the Void Ray happens to come across the Overlord anyway, just to deny scouting, and if that happened, that could have been game. Like, if that Overlord was killed, if there was no Nidus, then Solar, he might have still, of course, tried to all in, but it would have been that much weaker, would have been that much less effective. In the end, though, the Overlord got in. GG. GG, well played. Whew. And now we're getting into Game 4. White Rabbit. Here we go. Solar, he has a little bit of momentum. Can he go all the way to the ace match? Can he go the distance? As spawning in the right-hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the blue Protoss player. Blue Protoss, we have the South Korean Protoss representing T1. Still in the series 2-1, one game away from claiming the series. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Team Falcons. Fighting back, putting a point on the board, and one game away from claiming, or one game away from forcing the ace match. It is a Solar. Whew. Here we go. I was gonna say, if nobody expects mutas, isn't that the best strat? I mean, no one expects mutas for a reason, though. It's all good. But here we go. We're getting into White Rabbit. So this is another one of these larger maps. The larger map, likewise, is a little bit more accessible. Does have an open, or I would say that the bases are a little more spread out. It is difficult to turtle up and to defend on your 5-base setup, at least somewhat. We have seen some successful 4-base setups here, but we do have some options when it comes to aggression. We'll see how Solo does approach this. Once again, I wouldn't be opposed. I wouldn't be opposed to Solo going into mutas here on White Rabbits, if only we didn't already go mutas twice in this series. That's the thing, right? But because of the greater context, because we've already attempted mutas so much, I feel like it's ill-advised to go into muta play, and we should be seeing something different. I did like the Nidus all-in on Winter Madness because of how defendable that map is. So trying to break a 3 and 4 basing Protoss player is so difficult on Winter Madness. Here on White Rabbit, it's not as extreme. I will say that here, you know, 3-4 base play is more viable for Zori players. So we'll see what Solo goes for. I don't think there's as much pressure to go for an early 2-base all-in for Solo this time. As for now, we should be seeing our tech of choice, should be seeing the Stargate open out of herO. Now here he has been mixing up his initial units, whether it's Oracle or Void Ray. We've seen twice Void Ray, we've seen once Oracle. So we'll see what he goes for this time. Show us what you got. Otherwise, we do have Solar just getting to his own 3rd base, droning, saturating. Remember, last game was a 3:45 layer timing. No shot we see a layer that early here in game 4. No shot. But we'll see if he does go layer first, Evo Chamber, Roach Warren. We'll keep an eye on that tech. As we have the unit of choice, it's going to be an Oracle first. Oracle out of herO, not Void Ray. But that does mean that here he'll have more scouting information, have more vision, more scouting. Or at least he should if he doesn't lose the Oracle. As we're nearing that 340 mark. Overlord is hunted down. 3rd base being taken. Solo is here to shut down the probe. Oh! It does poke in. And does bait out the NG overcharge. Sorry, the pulsar beam. Baits out the pulsar beam, so not a bad move there by Solar. Pokes in, pulls away. Ooh, that is a very early Twilight Council. Okay, herO. The 3rd base just got thrown down, so there's a high chance Glaive Adepts. Very high chance here for Glaives. The extra gateways are going to be on the way. We're expecting 4-gate Glaives out of herO. Hyper aggression. The Nexus timing makes it look like a standard build, but we can see it's anything but. And remember, the Overlord got sniped. The Overlord went down, which means no scouting. Yeah, there's no scout into the main base. Solar, he is blind, he's in the dark. Oracles are keeping him busy. Again, the Twilight Council is finishing, the gateways are amassing. It's going to be a 4:30 layer timing, a Roach Warren's on the way, no Evo Chamber. Oh, and I assumed it was going to be Glaives. My apologies. It is going to be Charge instead, but that's a lot of gateways. He's building up to 7. 7 gateways, and looks like he wants more. The probe is still in position. We're going for an 8-gate 3-base all-in, and mass charge instead. Ay. Now, thankfully, Solar does have some roaches. If Solar was going Ling Hydra, he just died. Like, Ling Hydra just crumbles before before Zealot all-in. Roaches does give Solar a chance if he makes roaches. As Zealots are amassing, and here he will soon pull the trigger. He just has to build up that Zealot count. It is going to hit quite hard. It's also crucial that he keeps the zealots further back, like further back in the main. There's a lot of lings already getting picked up here. Roach speed is on the way. So he hasn't seen anything damning yet. 4 depths is standard. And he's making a handful of roaches, thankfully. But here comes the all-in. Here come the charge lots. And Solar, he sees nothing yet. Yeah, so far he is making some roaches, thankfully. He's making some lings. He's going for his own all-in. Okay. Let's go. Solar, he gets up to 3-way saturation. We have Overlord speed on the way. Solar is going for a German taxi, so all-in versus all-in. The Zealots say knock down the 4th base, but the 4th does not matter. It's going to be a cancel. And I believe Solar holds. And Solar, he's not just going to defend. Solar can counterattack. Remember, Solar, he's already going into Overlord speed. He's getting ready for his Dropper Lords. Things are looking good for Solar. He's got plenty of roaches. I say that Zealots, they do break through a handful of roaches here. 1, 2, 3 roaches going down. But yeah, no. There's not enough Zealots. Does catch a Ravager. And Solar, he defends. Ooh, bleeding out a couple of drones. Now, losing these drones and losing the 4th base does mean that the all-in is going to be weaker for Solar. It's going to be a weaker all-in. But charge lots, they are not ideal when it comes to defending against all-ins. I say they're not ideal, they're awful. They're awful for that. We do need as many Blink Stalkers as possible. Double Forge? Oh god. I don't think herO realizes how much danger he's in. Now he sees all the roaches. The robo was delayed. That's a robo after the double forge. Yeah, herO, he might just be too greedy here. Might just be too greedy. The all-in is coming. herO, he counterattacks, but Solo should not turn around. He should not turn around. herO, sorry, now more batteries. More batteries are on the way. Solo, he commits in. Blink is now done. Nice blinks. Oh, yeah. herO, he was a little bit too trigger happy with the blinks. He's blink way too much. Decent concave. Stasis trap goes off. Okay. Nice stasis. Where are the reinforcements? Ooh, the rally has been disrupted. Solar, he needs more of his army. He needs more roaches here. Every queen is going to go down. Roaches, they get punished. And Solar, the all-in's failing. The all-in is failing. Solar, the rally here was disrupted because of the Zealot run-by. He had no reinforcements. And the longer this game goes on, the worse it is for Solar. Remember, herO, he went double forge. He's getting double upgrades at the same time. Remember, Solar, he has no Eva chamber. Why does he have no chamber? He's all in. Like, he does not plan for the game to go on any longer. Solar, he's not built for a longer game. Here we go, Solar gearing up for round 2. Again, that Zealot run-by achieved so much when it came to not just denying mining, but also disrupting the production. Disrupting the reinforcements. Couple of free shots. Gets 1, 2, 3 roaches. 3 roaches go down, lings, they do flood in. Oh, no, they do not. herO, he's on top of the wall. Yes, the herO does warp in time. Zealots, they force the entire army back home. Yeah, Solar, he F2's back home. Ay, ay, ay. Once again, the Zealots, they buy a lot of time. Lings, they do slip in, but there's plenty of arm to work with here. And here he cleans this up. Here he cleans this up. Here he lost his robo. It was cancelled earlier, or at least denied, so still no immortal production. It's such a late robo. So without immortals, there's still a chance that Solar pulls this off. There is a chance. It's slim, but it's there. Oof. As here, he just dies in the Ravagers. Yeah, no fear. He just blinks in. Biles, they do connect with the Zealots. We get some decent Biles. But Solar, he's running out of steam. He's running out of army. Once again, here he's crazy. He blinks on top of the army. Dives to the Ravagers. Here gets punished. Okay. Here punished for the dive. Blinks away to the 4th base. At the same time, lings, they do flood into the mineral line. Once again, here is out of position. The wall was not a wall. The wall was open. Solar, can he do this? He might just be able to. Yeah, he might just be able to hear lack of wall, lack of immortals. Solar, he's just mass rallying across the map. Oof. This is also brutal. As here, he barely holds on. He's got his upgrades. He's now slowly building up his immortal count. It's still very clutch, but now he's up to 2 immortals. And the higher the immortal count, the less effective the roaches are going to be. But that's why this has been going so well for Solar, is because of the delay on immortal production. It's a big delay. But now there's 2, soon to be 3. Solar pushing in. Solar run by the right hand side. Ling run by as well. They do slip in. Why do we have immortals to defend the natural? What's going on? We need the immortals against the roaches, but they're defending against Lings. Pappy, we need the immortals. Gets a mineral line. 7 probes go down. Yeah, the army's all over the place here for herO. The 4th base goes down. But he does punish those roaches. Does punish at the same time. Zealots, they do get across the map. But nice reactions out of Solar. He pulls away. Saves his workers. There we go. The Immortals, they finally do come to the front lines. The army's coming together. And this game has lasted too long. It's just lasted too long at this point. herO now working on Storm, now working on +2, now getting a 4th immortal. Sorry, a 5th immortal. Oh my god. Getting up to 5 back. The death ball is amassing. Slowly he scouts the main army. You can see he's splitting up his army for a counterattack, for a multi-pronged aggression. For a second push. Does get himself with the Stalkers though. Nice catch. Stalkers getting caught out. herO, he does respond. Double exposed. Oh, herO once again having a hard time splitting up his army, but nice storms. And so he's diving on the High Templar, getting an immortal. Immortal goes down. A bit of a messy defense here by herO, but he's holding. Yeah, he's holding on. Once again, diving on the Ravagers. He keeps blinking forward. He's crazy. herO's lost so many Stalkers with those blinks. He's lost his mind. Calm down, herO. Calm down. We've had some patience quality blinks out of herO this game. I appreciate it. I miss my patience. I miss him. He sees an army twice his size and he blinks forward. Ah, let's go. As now once again the army does collapse in. The Mass Ravager here just cannot, it just doesn't scale. Just doesn't scale against this army. Over time it's just been getting worse and worse for Solar. Once again another Ling run by. These Ling run bys, they have 7 probes. Solar, he does find some damage. The lack of wall is hurting herO. But it's not enough. Yeah, it's not enough. GG gets called, and herO, he will claim the series 3-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played herO. He does claim the series. Again, Solar, he was all in, and initially I do think there was potential. Winding it back, how did this game begin? Initially, herO was going all in. Remember, herO, he went for a very early Twilight Council into early charge, into an 8-gate setup on 3 bases, 8-gate charge all in out of herO, and the Zealots got shut down. Like, Solar had the advantage. Solar, he was ahead. Solar, he shut down the Zealots, he shut down the charge, he shut down the all-in, and he went into his own all-in, his own German taxi. The problem though, if you recall, was when he was pushing out across the map, there was a Zealot run by, and it did actually deal economic damage. It was denying mining at the 3rd base. More importantly, the reinforcements of Solar, what should be a rally across the map, was stuck at home defending. So Solar, his army just wasn't being reinforced, it wasn't getting any larger, and he got shut down. I was a little bit shocked. I was very impressed that herO, he was able to shut down the first push, shut down the first all-in, and from there it was kind of game. It was a really shaky defense out of herO, I will say, just because he did go double forge. Like, it was crazy going double forge and delaying his robo as long as he did, so that kind of gave Solar an opportunity, but again, he just barely didn't have enough. His reinforcements were delayed. The Zealot Rambais were doing a lot when it came to just delaying the push and delaying Solar. If you remember, after that moment, herO went for another Zealot Rambai, and then Solar F2'd back home. Remember, Solar, he had to F2 back home because of those Zealots. They were just doing so much across the map. They gave herO the time he needed to build up his army. And as we mentioned, Solar, as the game progressed, his army became worse and worse over time. Because he had no upgrades, he was stuck on pure Roach Ravager, and Roach Ravager does not scale well into a longer game against Storm, Archons, Immortals, against, you know, a greater Protoss army. GG. GG, well played. Whew, and with that, herO, he does claim the series, he does advance on to the grand finals, and the question becomes, who will be playing against him? Let's go. Let us go. Let's catch up on the bracket itself. Un momento. As we catch up on the bracket. But thankfully we had a series, you know, thankfully Solar, he was able to pose a threat and take a game. That was the game where he went for the Nidus all in, if you recall, but only a single game. As herO takes down Solar 3-1 to make it to the grand finals, and herO, he is now waiting for the winner of the next series for either Trigger or Maru, a Protoss or a Terran opponent. Here we go. Once again, coming into this is going to be an interesting one. Initially, I would say that Clem was heavily favored to make it through into the finals to face off against herO from the beginning of these playoffs. But, I mean, as you can see here, Clem went down early in the tournament. He went early in the bracket to Trigger. And if Trigger can beat Clem, he can beat Maru. Like, Clem and Maru, they're quite close in skill when it comes to their TVP prowess. They're very different. I will say that Maru is more aggressive. Maru, he's more aggressive, he's more all-in, he's more in your face. In this matchup, true. So there is going to be a change of pace. We'll get into it. But Trigger, he's already achieved so much. Like, even going down here in the semifinals, like, no shame in that. Like, Trigger, I feel like he's already exceeded expectations. Can he exceed even more? Can he go even further? I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it, man. Meanwhile, a big shout out to HackerIsTop. HackerIsTop in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time. I haven't seen you stream in quite some time, so I hope you had a good time. Bienvenidos, as we are here in the semifinals of the Rongyi Cup Season 3 playoffs. We have one series left here tonight, the lower semis. If you're curious, the grand finals will be taking place tomorrow. The grand finals will be live tomorrow instead. So just catching up in the chat. Great reaction. Yeah, I remember that was in reference to a Ling Rambai being attempted and herO just warping it immediately. It's crazy. But for now, we're going to be cutting to a break. We're going to be going on a short break here. When we come back, we'll have the second half of the broadcast. We'll have Trigger and Maru ready for you. So we'll see you soon. We'll see you soon after this very short break. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OST as we returned with the second half of the broadcast. We're back here with Rongyi Cup Season 3 playoffs day number 3. Let's go, baby, let's go. We just wrapped up with the upper semifinals, and herO took down Solar 3-1 to advance onto the grand finals. Meanwhile, we'll see if who will join him. Who will join him? Will it be a PvP or PvT finals? Bearing in mind that the finals will be taking place tomorrow evening in just over 24 hours time. Whether it's going to be Maru or Trigger to join herO, we're here to find out. We're here to find out. We're jumping to game 1. Game 1 is going to be on the Old Republic. Let's go. Let us go. As we were kind of alluding to and getting into previously before the break, again, coming into this, you know, I don't think many people expected Trigger to make it this far. Like, everyone was looking at Clem to go far and to make it to the finals, to maybe even finally play against Maru. God damn it. That's the thing. Clem versus Maru, that's all we want for years now. We just never get it, man. We never get it. Smurge. It was meant to, it was prophesized to happen here in Rongyi Cup, but even then, it just doesn't happen. Feels bad, man. But here we go. Spawning in the right-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Team Vitality. It is Maru. And spawning in the bottom-hand corner, we have the Canadian Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Basilisk. It is a Trigger. Here we go as Trigger does move out immediately here with his probe, does veer off towards the right hand side, and we'll see how he sets up as we are expecting a proxy gateway, proxy pylon here out of Trigger. So far, cheeky start. Yeah, cheeky start here from our Canadian Protoss. What I was going to say coming into this series is I do recommend checking out the VODs. If you missed out on Clem versus Trigger in the quarterfinals, I do recommend it. But in that series, it was very mid-game focused. We saw that Clem more often than not went for economic builds. He was going for economic openers and economic builds and was building up in towards that mid-game, except for the ace match where Clem did attempt an all-in, did attempt and fail to be hyper aggressive. But again, it was typically a lot more mid-game play. Meanwhile, I do expect to see a lot more all-ins out of Maru, so this is a great way to start the series with a proxy 4-gate. We have 2 gateways across the map. We have 1 gateway back at home. So sorry, 3 gates set up here by Trigger. Hyper committed, hyper aggressive. He's gonna double down, and what a way to kind of start things off and kind of set the pace, set the scene for what is going to be this series, this best of 5. Let's go. Especially in a series where we expect to see Maru going for all-ins, right? Like, I do expect to see like a bunch of all-ins here to Maru, like twice, maybe even 3 times in this best of 5. So just run the tables here is going to be a great start here for Trigger if this works out, of course. Here we go. Gateways are finishing, Cybercore is now done, and we're going for the initial double Stalker. Double Chrono here on both Stalkers. We have the Adept rallying from across the map, also another Chrono on set Adept. Oh, he scouts! No, Maru, he scouts, he checks, he confirms what's going on. Maru, he cancels the CC immediately, cancels the CC, gets a refund, throws down the bunker on the high ground. Now, so far, good reaction, but doesn't matter. Is this good enough? Because the Stalker is already here. Stalkers, they've already arrived. They push forward, nice KDA charge, delaying the Stalkers. Bunker is halfway done, but can the bunker even finish? Remember, there's 1 Marine, 1 Reaper, another Marine's on the way. The boys are being pulled. Yeah, he has to pull the boys. Bunker's going to be delayed. But you can see instantly here the boy pulled to start off that bunker. Ooh, the Stalkers are being choked up, and Maru holds. Yeah, Maru, he will hold on. The bunker does complete. Kills one of the Stalkers. Ay, that should not have happened. Kills the Stalker, bunker completes, and Maru he holds. And this is a rough start for Trigger. This is a big commitment, a big investment, and so far it has not paid for itself. He's getting his own base, getting his own natural, but likewise so is Maru. Maru's getting a CC on the high ground. Trigger, he needs more damage. Again, this all came down to the scout. It all came down to Maru checking, Maru scouting. He was able to get that bunker up in time. Nice pick-ups here as Trigger does pick up a couple of SCVs. Not bad. Does catch 2 SCVs. Deeper taking a lot of hits. At the same time, Reaper does get into the main, but Trigger does have a Stalker. Does have a Stalker back home to defend. That Depot is going to go down. Oh no! Oof. And Trigger does get a full scout off. Confirms the CC, confirms the second Rax. That second Rax is potentially indicative of a 2-base all-in. We'll see if Maru goes for another Rax before the starport. Eyes are on Maru. But so far, this is a better start for the Terran. So far, better start for Maru. As he already has his first tank. Cyclone is coming in to reinforce. As Maru, he's set up on the high ground. Trigger trying to get into his own upgrades, getting to charge. I do like this. So charge is ideal if you expect that your opponent's going to all-in you. Like charge is built to just shut down tank all-ins and tank pushes. And Maru, he is getting ready to move out. It is going to be a 2-on-1 follow-up, no third racks. Going for his starports, getting on top of the gateways. We'll depower both. And we'll see if Trigger can survive this. Again, assuming that Maru's going to push. Maru, he brings his army together. He's got his 2 tanks. Ebay's on the way for +1. And Maru, does he just chill? Oh. If he just chills and if he turtles up instead, then this is going to be favoring the Terran. I would have said that Trigger's best chance would be if Maru pushed. But no, he's chilling back at home. He's chilling back. Working on stim, working on +1. And Trigger, he has a ways to go here. He's working towards charge, that's true, but as we mentioned before, like going into zealots like this, you can see he's messing up his zealots. This was meant to engage with an army, right? This is meant to engage with Maru pushing in. Trigger start is late. So late third base, late economy. Even going for the Temple Archives before the expansion. So a very delayed third. And Trigger, he now gets eyes on the army. He now sees. Oh, he gets spotted. No! Observer gets spotted. Third base is now finally on the way. And again, this is just a very shaky start here for Trigger. Bearing in mind as well that on this map, whoever has map control has a massive advantage. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th bases are a lot more exposed and vulnerable. And we're expecting Maru to be the one with map control. Scans, he sees everything. He sees a mass charge and the storm. So he's aware of the unit composition. He's aware of the tech. Double drop on the right hand side. Maru's pushing. And this move out is going to hit with stim. Stim is now finishing up. Trigger, he's distracted by what should be the main army. Maru, he pokes out, he pulls back. And the drop is slipping by. Go boosting into the main. Does boost in. Trigger racing back home. Does go for the recall, and Trigger should hold. It should be able to hold on here. Maru, he commits to the fight. Leaves out a good amount of his bio. And Marines go down. Raven does get away. It's just a little bit greedy there for Maru to commit as hard as he did. And the game will continue. From here, Maru, he's establishing his 3rd base. We have the Ghost Cabinet finishing up. Getting the Academy. Building up into those ghosts. And we'll see if Trigger can break Maru before he can get into ghost production. The ghosts are still on the way. Storms are coming. Storms are coming in. Ooh, does graze the army. Observer gets spotted. A Trigger is making his way towards the 3rd. Maru ideally wants to drive the army over. Very nice storm. Storm lands. But Trigger, he cannot engage. The tanks are on the high ground. And Maru, he will only lose 3 SCVs. 3 SCVs go down. From this point, Trigger, he needs a 4th. He needs a 4th base. There it is. It's on the way. I still do favor Maru's position. He's up in supply. He's up in economy. At least until the 4th kicks in. And the ghosts have now arrived. So he's got his ghosts, he's got his EMPs. Attempted storm jump. Ooh. It's deflected. And we're gonna settle in. We're settling into a longer game. Now, as much as I was talking about how we expected Maru to be very aggressive and all in this series, I mean, obviously the start of the game did kind of dictate the pace and did kind of shift all the gears. But Maru, he's very, very fond of longer, later play as well. You could argue that he's the best. He's the best when it comes to late game TVZ and TVP. Maru, he's very fond and very willing to just slow the game down to a crawl, throw down 5 CCs, a wall off, and just embrace a long turtle game. This is where Maru and Clem differ. Clem, he's a little more active. He's a little more active, a little more aggressive in the mid game. In all 3 matchups. True, true. Whereas if you give Maru the opportunity, like, he will just fully wall up. La tortuga, papi. True. Maru's an old man, can't compare with a kid. I mean, you could say that, but Maru was always like this. Like, the reputation that Maru has of just being very, very turtle heavy, like, has been around for many, many years. Like, it's... Well, I say many years, like, in my mind, at least, like, COVID era, like, at least 2020 onwards, maybe 2019 onwards. At least COVID era. But true, old man, papi. Look, I still remember like the 3-hour series that he had with Dark, like on oh. As Mines they pop up, they shut down the High Templar. We had attempted storm flanks. Sure, you're going to try to engage. Again, there is an opening. You can see here the low ground CC is very exposed. It's very open. Base out the mine shots. Oh, but sure, he cannot commit. He gets punished. He gets bullied by the tanks. The tanks force him back. The storms do not connect. And if you're in the chat, now is the time to put the kettle on, you know, start some tea, start some coffee, get some snacks. Why is that? We have 4 CCs on the way. Like, as we mentioned, like, Maru, he is very, very willing to just embrace a longer game. So he throws down 4 CCs, storm zones, planetary goes down, gets a planetary, and maybe a couple of these bases. Gets 1, gets 2, that's a kill. Oh, it's a kill, not a cancel. Ghost, they do land 1 EMP. Yeah, lands an EMP. Now, before I get ahead of myself about the game slowing down, the win condition for Trigger, deny the 4th. If he can keep doing this, if he can deny the 4th base time and time again, then he can keep Maru's bank low. He can keep it low and then trade in efficiently and out trade Maru. Nice snipe one of the ghosts. And again, Trigger, he cannot back off. He cannot back off. He has to just keep going. He dives in. Does force a lift. Storm of the Vikings. Yeah, the Vikings get stormed, and it looks like Trigger, does he have enough? Barely not. Yeah, too many Vikings. They focus on the Colossus, one after the other. Trigger, he runs out of storms. The army is so battered though, so bruised, so heavily overstimmed. Trigger, he's so close. Can he break him? Oh my god. I think he may have. Trigger, he needs one more warp in. He's so close. Casito, papi, casito. Meanwhile, Maru, he saturates the 4th base. Planetary has now begun. Oh, never mind. Okay. So back to what I said before. Strap yourselves in. The Trigger, he was so close to ending the game early and to breaking Maru, but alas, do you see what I see? Outside of Zealot Rumbys and some pressure here. Prism is denied. Zealots they push in, but Maru's in position. And Trigger throws down 2 Stargates. 2 Stargates and a Fleet Beacon. Trigger, he's getting ready for Sky Toss. So basically, seeing all these Stargates tells us that Trigger, he admits that he cannot kill. He admits that he cannot kill this base. He cannot kill Maru. It's not going to work. So Trigger's getting ready for the late game. But again, he came close. Nice Zealot run by. Zealot takes him into the bases. Trigger, he rotates over towards the top side to deny the 5th. Denies the 5th base. Picks off a couple of SCVs. Pushing further in. And even though Trigger isn't really doing anything, dealing any kind of devastating damage, he's only throwing away Zealots, right? He's only throwing away Zealots, it's fine. He's not losing anything meaningful. Tempests are amassing as we speak. Building up this Tempest. Jesus, that's a lot of freedom. And this is why you need Tempest. Like, against this many Liberators, you need those Tempests to slowly pick away at that lib count. To pick away at this siege position here of Maru. Speaking of, we do blink under. Oh. Gets 1. Gets 2. 2 Liberators go down. Trigger still being very active. So we have more Tempest building up. The Viking count is actually very low. Only 1 Viking? Oh, okay. The Viking count was reset earlier, and now these Colossus, they can pop off. Bearing in mind, the Starports have been making nothing but Liberators. Nothing but Libs. So very low Viking counts. Tempests have arrived. Final Viking goes down. And immediately Maru starts making Vikings again. Starts off those Vikings, but the Tempests are getting picked up. I speak over the Tempest. Storm on the army. Oh my god, he runs through the storms. Oh no! Yeah, massive storms. Despite that, we collapse on the Colossus. Maru, he gets 1, he gets 2 Colossi. Nice juggling towards the end. And with this warp in, Trigger, he can keep going. Yeah, he can keep going, can keep pushing. Este Trigger. Zealot run by, kills 5 SCVs. Oh, looks like there was a bit of a pause. Hopefully everything's okay. As again, this Tempest switch here from Trigger, it's doing so well for himself just because there were no Vikings, right? There were no Vikings. Maru was not ready. He was not ready for the Tempest. Even now only has 2 Vikings down to 1. 1 Viking left. Trying to make as many as he can. Again, Trigger not missing a beat. Still taking more bases, getting more expansions. We have DTs warping in as well. Trigger, oh, does get EMP'd. Massive EMP on the Tempest. There are too many Vikings. Maru, he's going in. He's going in. He's got, what, 5 Vikings left. Gets another Tempest. Maru holds. Yeah, Maru, he does hold on. Trigger, he overextends. Ay. Things were looking decent for Trigger, and then we saw just a massive EMP. A massive EMP landed. Covered all the Tempests. At the same time, DTs, they do get into the natural. Nice run by, nice damage. 13 SCV kills. Planetary's exposed. Maru's out of position. He's racing on over, and can Trigger kill that Planetary? It's close. Yeah, it's getting very close here, but it looks like Trigger, he may lose everything. Gets the base, but at a cost. As the Tempest get hunted down one after the other, a couple of Stalkers get away. And that was an expensive trade for Trigger, even rallying a Tempest. No, the missed rally. Rallies into the army. We're getting messy. Oh. I mean, nice big OC with the DTs. They trade well. Maru attempts to take another expansion, but hey, the DTs here to punish these SCVs. He's punishing. 5 SCVs go down. Trigger, he's now aware of the would-be base. Ooh, the Zealot Runway is a little bit too soon. Yeah, too soon. On the one hand, Trigger, he is killing bases, he is denying some of the economy, but these have been expensive losses here for Trigger, as he has lost so many Tempest. He's lost 9 Tempest, 8 Colossus. These have been some rough fights. Maru has the superior army. Yeah, he's got his Death Ball. He's got his Death Ball here. He can just stim and win. Takes down another expansion. Trigger, he's down to 1 Colossus and 1 High Templar. EMP lands. Yeah, no detection. No detection, so the Ghost was just free to EMP. Snipes the High Templar, no Storm. And Maru's going for the kill. He's going for the kill. The boys are being pulled. Trigger getting desperate, but alas, he just cannot keep up. Cannot hold on. And with that, Maru, he has done it. Forcing his way further in. At the same time, we do have a Zealot Runby, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The Death Ball has arrived. And pushes into the main base, going for the tech. The gateways, the robos, the everything. Back at home, there are plenty of reinforcements, so Maru, he does eventually defend. Trigger warping it whatever he can. Yeah, Waldo's in with a Dark Templar, but there's a scan. And even though Maru's going to kill the main base and Maru has the massive army lead, this was still a very close game. This was still very close and very tense. Again, the Tempest transition was on point. Just took some really rough fights. You know, just took some really, really rough fights. Triggered it. I mean, GG gets called, and Maru, he will take a lead in the series. He will take game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. But even before the Tempest switch, even before that, when Trigger was attacking the 4th base, if you recall, those fights were very, very close. You saw how heavily overstimmed Maru was. The entire army was deep in the red. Maru, he barely defended his 4th location, just barely. That was the moment where Trigger he made the decision to switch into Tempest. And again, it was a really fast decision as well. This is one of the criticisms that I typically have of Protoss players, whether it's Classic, whether it's herO, whether it's Max Packs. A lot of these guys often, they have a hard time making that decision to switch into Skytoss. Like it's very often they kind of stay and they kind of stick with it with a gateway composition to try to end the game and try to out harass and try to overwhelm, and at a certain point it kind of becomes clear that it's not going to work, but they stick with it. Like at times they can be a little bit stubborn. So I really do enjoy the timing here of the switch from Trigger. It worked well. I mean, hey, even Maru was caught off guard. He had like 2 Vikings, so he was caught off guard, but again, unfortunately, took some rough fights, and in the end, EMPs landed. Maru took over. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be getting into game 2. Going to be loading into Tourmaline, a much smaller map this time. Much smaller map. We're expecting earlier engagements, earlier aggression. Let's go. Let us go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Team Vitality, leading the series 1-0. It is Maru. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss himself representing Basilisk. It is a Trigger. Go. I think 2020, but mostly TVZ, if I recall correctly. Yeah, for sure. But I do agree, Tuppin, that the more turtle heavy play from Maru was more renowned against Zerg, for sure, for sure. But that's also because TVP was very different, right? It was there was a very different dynamic in turn versus Protoss. The meta was different, I should say. Is moon speed boost to high tempo a good idea so the storms can get positioned without a prism? Oh, I feel like you have to be very careful with that. Yeah, I feel like you do have to be very careful with that. I don't think... I don't necessarily think it's necessary. Obviously, I think you're referring to the moment when Trigger, he pushed in when he engaged at the 4th base and his War Prism got sniped, if you recall. But that was a little bit on Trigger because he just rallied the Prism in and he wasn't really too attentive to it. So like that was kind of a big blunder from Trigger's side. Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit scary buffing High Templar in such a way just because in a lot of matchups, like, you're meant to eventually switch out, like especially in TVP, like switching into disruptors because of the strength of EMPs is standard. It is very standard. Obviously we didn't see that last game, we didn't see that last in game 1. It's typically kind of like the route you want to take, just because of that EMP counterplay. So yeah, I don't know, I feel like mobility is just really powerful and you have to be really careful with that sort of thing. Gotta be careful. Oh, as we have an economic opener. Okay, economic start here by Maru going for a faster CC on the low ground, and Maru, he's hoping to try to punish Trigger by going for a Marauder follow-up. Okay, so we have Concussive Shell Marauders behind this, potentially into 3 CC 3 racks. Oh, just going for the 3 racks. Okay, Marauder into 3 racks. Hyper aggressive follow-up here. It's 2020 once again. Let's go. We saw this build a lot on Side Delta, if you recall, a couple of years ago. That was all like in 2020, 2021. Trigger moves out with the Stalker, and oh, he spots. Good reaction. Quick reaction. Trigger, as soon as he saw the Marauder, he got the hell out of there. He pulls away, he does pull out. Meanwhile, did I say 3 racks? 4 racks. Oof, okay, we're going to be even more committed here. A 4 racks, this is going to be a 2 base all-in. 2 base all-in, Stim timing. Stim is on the way, Mass Buy was on the way. If you remember, this used to be really, really trendy back when Stargate openers were more common, right? Opening up Stargate and going for Phoenix Colossus, you would be vulnerable to these early Stim timings and to these all-ins. That was back when Protoss players were opening up Phoenixes more often. Yeah, Phoenix Colossus was the dark time. DTs, okay. This is the way to defend. Trigger, he goes in. Trigger, he does confirm the Marauders, and there is a high chance that there's like a 2-on-1 or a 3-racks follow-up. True. There's a high chance that it's going to be very biocentric. That is standard after a Marauder-based opener, and Trigger is going for DTs. Now, why are DTs really good in this position? Against an all-in, Maru, he's going to be muling. He's going to be muling as much as possible because he needs as many resources as he can to be able to facilitate for this timing attack. So scans, I mean, saving energy for scans is not going to be as likely, and he only has 2 orbitals. There's no 3rd CC. So Maru, he should have limited scans, and Trigger, he might be able to shut this down. We'll see. Now we have some energy in the main. Dark Shrine is almost done. Trigger does have that proxy. And Maru, he does mule. He did just mule. There's about to be energy here at the natural. And does he mule? Here come the Dark Templar. Yeah, he pulls the boys. Yeah, he does pull the boys again. 2 base all in. He's holding onto a scan. Now, I was talking about defensive DTs. We need them back at home as well. There we go. He scouts. Yeah, he does scout. There's the first scan. First scan does land. We need more DTs. We need more Dark Templar. Oh no. This one DT across the map isn't doing anything. We have to come back home. Come back. Or attack or anything. We have 1 defensive DT, but there's a second scan. And Maru, he's done it. Yeah, Maru, he has done it. DT gets across the map. These DTs are a waste. Like, they're not really going to achieve too much here. We need a defensive DTs, Pappy. Now we're warping 1 in. Yeah, the boys are being pulled, but we're doing critical damage here. So many probes go down. There's a scan. And Maru, he's done it. Maru, he's done it. He breaks the main base. There was potential with the DTs, but only if they were used defensively. Alas, in the end, Maru, he had enough scans. And he shuts us down. Shuts us down. GG gets called, and Maru, he will take a 2-0 lead in the series. GG. Whew, GG, well played. A much faster game number 2 here. Unfortunately, Trigger didn't know what was going on. Trigger, there was no hallucination scout, there was no observer scout or anything like that, so that's why Trigger had so little to defend back at home. He was blindly going into his DTs, and too late did realize that Maru was pulling the boys and going for an all-in himself. Again, he never got into the main base, he never did scout the 4 racks. Never saw the 4 racks. GG. GG, well played. Again, he did just commit a little bit too hard to harassing across the map. Likewise, you do have to stagger your DTs defensively to force out those scans, to ideally have your opponent run out of scans and then be able to deal with that army, but yeah, too little too late. GG. GG, well played. Now with that, we're getting into game 3, potentially the final game of the series. Again, I do feel like Trigger's strengths are in the mid game and the mid to late game, but can he get there? Can he get there? Let's go. Let's find out. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Team Vitality. It is Maru. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player, the Canadian Protoss representing Basilisk. It is a Trigger. Also, shout out to Maru for actually holding onto those scans. If you recall, I was saying how, hey, if he muled too hard, if he muled too much, then DTs would shut him down. But Maru, he was intentionally holding onto at least 1 scan, and once he realized there were DTs, he had 3 available to him. He had those 3 just when he needed them. Did shut down the DTs. Meanwhile, it's time to proxy. Okay, it's Maru's turn. Here we go. We're going for the proxy racks here on the right hand side. We'll see if Trigger scouts. Does he scout in this area? Does he scout in this location? Oh boy. Oh, my apologies. He skirts around the edge of the map going for the eBay. The Rax is actually back at home. So Rax is back at home. The SCV gets scouted and the eBay is denied. Nice moves here by Trigger. Nice moves. He does deny the eBay. And Trigger will expand. Again, if he failed to see the SCV, then the eBay would have been thrown down and Trigger would have been forced to expand at the 3rd location instead. And we've seen many a Protoss attempt and fail to defend that 3rd location. Strum here going to force a cancel, and Trigger can expand. And there's a cancel. There's the expansion. Meanwhile, big shout out to Sian in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. I hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Fala galera, papi. Fala galera. Bom dia, papi. Bom dia. Good to see you. Good to see you, papi. Este Sian. As welcome to Rongyi Cup. Welcome, welcome. It's covering Rongyi Cup. Here we have once again Maru going for his tech lab follow-up in towards Marauder, just like last game. The goal here is to punish any kind of attempted harass at the natural, and this can lead into a 2nd, 3rd, or even 4th racks. I'm leaning more towards like maybe a 2-1-1, or maybe like 3 CC 3 racks. No Study does the same build 2 games in a row, right? Show us a 3rd CC. Backing up those minerals. Getting up to 400. And there it is, 3 CC 3 racks out of Maru. This time a hyper greedy build as the follow-up of a Marauder. Okay. Now, there are some pros and there are some cons to this. Maru is going to be very vulnerable, very vulnerable to 4-gay blink. Why is that? Well, because, as he does attempt to catch out the Stalker, but because he's going for a faster CC, he's going to have a very late factory, because he should have extra Raxes after this as well. So late factory, late tank production, a weaker defensive setup here for Maru until Stim finishes. Once Stim finishes, then he can hold. But pre-Stim, he's going to be vulnerable. You know, the armies do clash, trading 1-to-1. Stalker does recall back home. Now, the problem here is that Trigger hasn't seen the main. He doesn't know what's going on, and the opener is just like the last game. Marauder, right? It could be Marauder into a 2-1-1, or into a 3 racks, into a 4 racks, or into 3 CC. There are a lot of options here. There are a lot of options to what it could be. And Trigger, at least currently, is unaware. We have 2 gates in the main. No, okay, blindly going for, okay. He's blindly going for the 4 gates. He has potential. So 4 gate blink here by Trigger. Trigger, he can punish. As we mentioned though, pre-stim. Like he has to hit pre-stim. Once stim finishes, then Maru, he can hold his own. He's getting a safety bunker here on the low ground. There is a window for Trigger. Where's the prism? Okay, prism's on the way. War prism is coming. Here from the natural. I think this is going to be too late. Stim is going to finish. Yeah, Stim will complete. Now, despite Stim finishing, like, there's still potential for Trigger, but Blinks will be punished. If he blinks up into the army, then Maru, he can just Stim everything and focus it down. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. We'll see if Trigger can pull this off. Stalkers are moving in. Again, that's a lot of Stalkers. He can dive into the main base. Stim is done in 5 seconds. 2, 1. Stim finishes. If he blinks in, Maru, he will punish. And Trigger blinks down to low ground. Okay, nice pick up. Gets the bunker. Bunker goes down. Picking up some SCVs. A very delicate micro here by Trigger. Getting 5 SCVs so far, not bad. Getting up to 8, 9. And 9 SCVs go down. Does force out the first stim. Ooh, catching out 2 Stalkers. And Trigger has to get out. He has to get the hell out of here. Once again, they're picking up more SCVs. Ooh, Prism goes down. But this army is becoming overstimmed. Trigger, can he focus on these Marauders? There's 2 left. Down to 2. Oof. Down to 2 Marauders. And yes, Maru, he does hold, he does survive, but he lost 13. 13 SCVs went down. Hefty losses for Maru. At the same time, the 3rd base was delayed for Trigger. Now, what is scary here? On the one hand, yes, Maru, he lost 13 SCVs, but remember, what was Maru's build? It wasn't a 3 racks, it was 3 CC 3 racks. He had extra SCVs. That's why, despite losing 13 workers, the worker disparity here is actually quite small. As Maru, he had workers to spare. He could afford to lose them. Once again, trying to trade with the army. Ooh, catching out a Stalker. The Marauders are getting very low, though. Getting very low. 3 Marauders getting picked up. There's 3 Marauders. But Maru, he does keep pushing. 3rd CC is now on location. And Maru, he has held. At this point, he has held, he has defended. I say that Trigger is still rallying across the map. Colossal production has begun. God, there are so many Marauders. Yeah, a couple of boys are being pulled once again. Diving on the Stalkers. Trigger, he does pull away. Does pull away. Again, this entire time we've seen no medevacs here just because of the delay in the starport. But they finally arrived. Now Maru, he can stim more freely. Now he can stim. Speaking of. Ooh, Trigger's getting called out. He should not be here. Leading out a Stalker. 3 Zealots. Trigger reinforcing with the Colossus. Maru, he wants a Colossus. Oh no, he wants it. He's gonna get it as well. Yeah, massive overextension. Again, Trigger, he should not be here. Not like this. Not once the medevacs were revealed. Once they were revealed, that was gonna be the end of the aggression, and Trigger, he will lose everything. The Colossus, the Stalkers, the Zealots. Ay, ay, ay. Hefty losses for Trigger. Hefty losses back. As he's trying to reinforce with another Colossus, but again, there's not really much of a buffer here. Yeah, Maru, he sees weakness, he goes to the dive. And he gets a Colossus once again. Oh no, he doesn't. Oh my god. One more shot. One shot away from going down. The Colossus survives. Okay, Trigger, he takes a fight. He takes a better fight. He punishes Maru at the same time. Wouldn't mind drop here into the natural. Oh, quick reactions. Quick reactions, let's pull away in time. And we're getting messy. We're getting messy. Upon saving the Colossus, now we can start to build up. Oh, I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon, Pappy. Colossus goes down. You know, Maru, he breaks through all the Zealots. Catching out another Stalker. Yo, let's go. We pull the boys. Get out of here. Calm down, Trigger. Calm down. Hi, Pappy. As again, Trigger, he's still not letting up. I feel like Trigger, he's been attacking, pushing into Maru for the past 10 minutes. Essentially, it's been for the past 8 minutes, just been in his face, trying to end it. He's been trying. This time there are Vikings though. They punish the Colossus. Colossus goes down. As Trigger, he does get into the mineral line, gets 8 SCVs. Takes out 8 SCVs, but these have been some rough losses for Trigger. Every time just losing Colossus after Colossus. At no point in this game have we seen 2 Colossi. It's only been 1, because they just keep dying. They just keep getting caught out. And now you can see the supply disparity. Again, Maru, he's just been too efficient. He's been far too efficient here. Maru, he's had the better economy for almost the entire game due to his opener. Now he's getting his 4th CC. And the longer this game goes, the worse it's going to be here for Trigger, unless he's able to do something about the economy. War Prism sits in, but it's going to be a one-way trip. Prism goes down. Stop cursing, Trigger. True. Hey, he's got 2 Colossus. He's got 2, Pappy. Let's go. Bearing in mind that Trigger, he lost his War Prisms, no reinforcements, no juggling. Trigger has to get the hell out of here. The Colossus are exposed. No, he's gonna lose 1. Yeah, Maru, he just sims in. He sims in. He gets 1. He gets both Colossi. And with that, Maru takes a much more decisive fight. At the same time, 11 SCVs go down. Sure, he does deal some economic damage, but Maru, he might not stop. He might not stop this time. As Maru, he breaks out. Trigger back at home. He's trying to warp in Zealots. Going for his own Prism counterattack. And for the first time this game, Maru, he gets across the map. He breaks out, he pushes out. Guesses off the 4th base. There's no defensive Colossus. Oof. Takes down the expansion. Trigger, he was already behind economically, and now he's forced onto 4 bases, and even base count with the Terran. Trigger now switching into disruptors. Drop into the main. Can we deny +2? He can. And +2 is going to be denied. Massive pickup. Oh my god, denies +2, denies warping the Autosis pylon. Everything gets depowered. It's all depowered in the main. Not like this. Maru, he's almost maxed out. He's just tearing a Trigger apart. As Trigger, he's out of position. He cannot defend his fourth. The fourth will go down. GG gets called, and Maru, he will take the series 3-0 and advance on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations, Maru. He will claim the series, but a shout out to Trigger, because Trigger, even though he goes down 3-0, game one was very clutch. Game one was very close. Game one was very clutch. I would say the game one was the game of the series, but outside of that, game two and game three were a little bit more in favor of Maru. Game two, Trigger, he had potential with the DTs, but Maru, he was able to strike first, and he held on to scans. Maru, he was attentive to that, so he made sure he had scans available, so DTs were not good enough. Meanwhile, here in game three, we saw Maru went for a hyper greedy build, and Trigger, he attempted to punish, and it was doing okay initially. Remember, he killed 13 SCVs. That wasn't too bad. He killed 13 workers to try to even things up, but then he kept pushing. Like Trigger, he was hyper aggressive this last game. He was never giving Maru any room to breathe. That is true, but he was just taking worse fights. Like Trigger, despite the non-stop aggression out of Trigger, he was just, every time he engaged, losing Colossus after Colossus after Colossus, losing all of his Zealots, losing his War Prism, losing his Stalkers. These were expensive losses here for Trigger, and he couldn't sustain himself. He couldn't sustain his own aggression. He was just trading too poorly. He was trading too poorly, and over time, Maru was able to overwhelm, build up his third, his fourth, and outscale Trigger. GG. GG, well played. But with that, congratulations to Maru, and now we have our two finalists. It's going to be herO versus, not Clem, herO versus Maru in the grand finals. Let's go, baby, let's go. It's going to be a GSL rematch, a GSL finals rematch from last year. Coming into this again, herO, I would still say, is the favorite player. Like, you could make an argument right now that herO is the best player in the world. I've spoken about this a couple of times, but over the past 2 months, what has herO achieved? herO, he won the RSL offline finals in December. herO, he won Thunderfire, which was a couple of weeks ago. herO, he won the OSC Season 13 Championship, and now herO is here in the finals of Rongyi Cup Season 3. Like, in all the premier events over the past 2 months, like herO has been winning them. It's crazy. It's like he's just winning everything. So is the streak going to end? Is herO finally going to be shut down and finally not going to win an event, or is Maru going to take it? We'll see. We shall see. The pressure's going to be on Maru. We'll see if that streak ends here in the Rongyi Cup finals. That'll be tomorrow. That will be tomorrow. Of course, the one event that herO didn't win was Home Story Cup, but he didn't go. Like, herO didn't go to Home Story Cup. That's the one event that herO didn't win. As that was, of course, last weekend. And alas, we'll see. We'll see how herO and Maru do compare in the finals. Again, that'll be taking place tomorrow. When it comes to other events over the next, couple of weeks, and over the next couple of weeks and a couple of months, we of course have RSL Season 4. RSL Season 4 is around the corner. Pigsty Festival is also around the corner as well. Those are the next like 2 big events. Maru CVP is kind of disgusting. I don't think anyone has it figured out quite like him. Maybe, I mean, I still do favor Clem's TVP. They're just very different kind of players. And again, like, for example, like Creator had a really strong showing. I could see a world where we have a Creator versus Trigger instead of Trigger versus Maru, right? If you see here on the bracket, like Maru, he barely took down Creator in that best of 5. Barely took him down. But I do agree that like Maru and Clem, they're very different in their approach. I would say I would kind of look at game 1 as an example of that, right? Game 1 was Maru being hyper defensive, and that's kind of like one of his biggest strengths, of course. Game 2 and game 3, what I did appreciate out of Maru is that he mixed it up, specifically in game 2. Remember, game 2, Maru, he went for a 2-base all-in. 2-base all-in out of Maru in game 2, so he did go from one extreme to the other. And then in game 3, we had Maru once again kind of taking that more defensive stance. And I feel like Maru has maybe the best defensive play in TVP at the moment. You saw that in game 1 and in game 3, whereas Clem, I want to say, is a little bit more active in the mid game. At times he's forced to be defensive. That's kind of like the meta when it comes to TVP, but Clem is typically a more active player, and that's kind of where he does thrive, in his ability to pull defensive Protoss players apart and be active, aggressive, be on the map with drop play, with counterattacks. Yeah, very different styles. It reminds me a little bit of, like, I guess maybe Reina and serO, or yeah, I guess it's the case with all the top players, right? Like when I think of the top 2 Zerg players in the world, I think of Reina and serO, and they're also a little bit similar in the sense that like serO's a little bit more like macro oriented, and Reina's a little more active. He's a little more active and aggressive and multi-pronged aggression sort of thing. It is similar with the top 2 Protosses with herO and Classic, where I would say that Classic has the better late game than herO does for sure. Like Classic has the best late game PvZ and PvT, but herO, he's a little more successful, you know, and a little more dynamic in the mid game and even towards the late game as well. And it's almost similar here with Clem and Maru as well, where they're like the top 2 Terran players, and also like they have their own strengths and weaknesses. I do appreciate that, actually. I appreciate that when it comes to the top Zergs, Protoss, and Terran players, the top players, they're very different to each other. Like they're like stylistically they're quite different, which always makes them a lot of fun to cover and cast. But GG, well played. Again, we're going to be getting ready for the next series, or for the finals. That'll be tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be herO versus Maru. We should be casting it live. I'm a little bit on the fence about it. You can see our schedule here. Originally it was scheduled for around 10 p.m. KST or 11 p.m. KST, but we found out that Rongyi Cup is a multi-esports event. There's a lot of esports, a lot of finals happening on the same day, and I believe Valorant is going to be occurring before the StarCraft finals. So the start time for herO versus Maru tomorrow is going to depend on when the Valorant finals finishes. So if it's a fast finals, then Maru and herO, they'll start earlier. If it's a long finals, then they'll start later. So it kind of depends on how fast or how slow like the Valorant finals is. So because of that, the start time for Rongyi Cup tomorrow is going to be a little bit shaky. It's going to be a little bit more dynamic as to when it begins. And because of that, we might be able to cast it, we might not. If it starts too late, we won't be able to. If it starts a little bit earlier, if it starts on time, we should be able to cover it. But it's going to be one series. It's going to be just the finals, best of 7, herO versus Maru. Let's go, baby, let's go. But again, that is going to be tomorrow in over 24 hours time. So look forward to it. Do look forward to it. Meanwhile, when it comes to Sunday, you can see that currently Sunday is empty. We should be casting on Sunday. We're going to be covering Thunderfire. Thunderfire Day 2 is going to be on Sunday. And the Thermal 2v2 circuit is going to be Sunday evening. We don't cast that, but we do admin. We do run the event. That's going to be in the evening on Sunday. That's going to be the February monthly tournament. So do look forward to that. Look forward to it. When it comes to the rest of our schedule, we are going to be casting herO Cup. herO Cup, the replays, we're going to be covering that next week. We'll be beginning that next week. We also have, of course, Pegasus Cup, but we have Tuna Cup. The return of Tuna Cup is going to be next week. Wardy TV Mondays, RSL qualifiers are also next week. True. We spoke about that, but when it comes to the big events on the horizon, we have the Pigsty Festival qualifiers, and we have the RSL qualifiers as well. So RSL is going to be starting up next week. And again, those are kind of like the big events on the horizon, is RSL and Pigsty. Bearing in mind we have Stars Agora. Stars Agora is going to be in March. True. March the 21st is going to be Bellum Gen's Elite Stars Agora 2026. And I think that's all we have scheduled currently. When it comes to future events this year, I think we can confidently say that SC for All, the LAN event in the Americas, that most likely is going to continue. So expect to see some more SC for All, for example. That'll be a lot of fun. Expect the next Home Story Cup towards the end of the year. You know, two Home Story Cups a year is kind of what we expect. So like halfway through, if not towards the end of the year, should be the next Home Story Cup. What else? I think that's everything that's on my mind currently. Like maybe a potential SC2 safe house, depending on how the NA scene is feeling at the moment regarding that. And I want to say there's like another Chinese event on the horizon as well. Like again, shout out to SC Boy. They've been devoting a lot to StarCraft this year, with Thunderfire, with Rongyi Cup, with Kung Fu Cup. True. We know the Kung Fu Cup is coming back as well. Do we get another Masters Coliseum? We'll see. But much love to SC Boy. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Again, we're going to be back tomorrow in over 24 hours, potentially with the final day of Rongyi Cup with the grand finals. I say potentially because again, it does depend on when the event begins and how late it begins as well. Otherwise, we'll cast it via replays. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. You can help support us. You can help support us over on Patreon if you wish. !Patreon in the chat. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments. And again, Tuna Cup should be returning next week. Should be back. Should be getting back into the swing of things. Likewise, if you see something that you like here, and if, for example, if you missed out on Clem versus Trigger, if you missed out on Creator versus Maru, if you missed out on some of these other matches, YouTube is the place to be. All of the VODs are over on YouTube under the live tab. It's all there under the live tab. So check out those VODs on YouTube. Do catch up on Rongyi Cup before we get into the finals tomorrow. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for the support. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for those finals. See you then, papi. See you then. Until then, ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.